Dunkin' Donut opened just for this. Thinks he's gonna have enough business to stay open afterwards once some of the new construction is built, but he's gotten back everything he invested in his making money. It's been, and there's been a lot of criticism of businesses in Tyson's and the impact. It really hasn't happened. We've lost one business that we chased out and we paid them to relocate because we have to use it for an entrance point. That was a tire company. They tell us their business is better because they can have better access. People can get in and out of where they were. And we purchased a business bank headquarters and we opened a new branch for them and put them in a new headquarters building. But those are the only two things that we caused directly, because we did have one other business that has closed on Route 7, and that was Weight Watchers, and they said they were really closing because all their work is now online. We've had major new businesses open up on Route 7, including places like Ruth Chris Steakhouse and Home Goods. Home Goods is the great joy of people. But Will be happy to take you, our story, to any of your friends, any groups you're in. And we also want to make sure that you, as people in the real estate community, we have learned some lessons from phase 2. You're going to have multiple questions for us, especially those of you who are selling properties along the Greenway and who are near and you want to know specific information. We have done noise studies that will we can tell you what the noise impact would be on a block in a neighborhood that's close to we don't do it for a half a mile away, but we do it because we can give you that information. If you want to send your client to us with a question, it takes you out of the middle. Just have them call. We will come to your offices, talk to your brokers, talk to your agents, and get the word out. Because we discovered that in Fairfax we have a network of real estate agents that make these documents that you have once a month. We do a phase 1 newsletter. We will be doing this for phase 2. We print 12,000 of these. They go out to real estate agents. We use them in their name. We get people calling for more or having added to the list every month. And we've so appreciated that, and we hope we can build that kind of relationship. And be happy to answer questions. I'll start with you, and then I'm going to go in the corner and get back.
I kind of hear the news, Loudoun County was talking about not contributing money and or even the state of Virginia talking about but then that goes back to your authority and then raising the tolls to pay for it. It's going to be built, it sounds like. So tell me what you know.
I think
about
you are
that.
a little bit confused. Let me help, because
Yeah.
everybody is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying, if I start to stray, tell me I'm going too far on taking the airport authority side. The proposal is out there. Loudoun County has the option to opt in or opt out. There's an awful lot of conversation going on between supervisors, the business community especially, whether Loudoun should stay in or not. At the moment, I think the Loudoun board split 50-50. That's what we hear. There's some people who are really for it, and there's some people a couple people who are never going to be for it on board. I would suggest that depending on where you live, you talk to your supervisor, call him or her and say, hey, you tell me where you are on this and where we are on this, and listen to what they have to say, for or against, and question him if you don't agree with him. If you don't want this, tell him you don't want this, and if you do want it, you can tell him you do want it. But there's several new organizations. This new organization called Loudoun now that just launched yesterday. They're opposition groups. Loudoun Opt Out 2 or something like that. They're the people who have the big grizzly bear in their flyers that says, don't be eaten by the grizzly bear. That's Dulles Rail, and tell you that if you get Dulles Rail, you're not going to get new schools. But
if they opt out, is it still going to be built, or is there no money?
if Loudoun opts out, we cannot build
Where do you
rail
stop?
to
Where do
Loudoun.
you stop? You stop there or not?
Well, we have to go back and start over. We have to go back and start over with the thinking of phase 2, because what happens if they opt out is the existing memorandum agreements between Loudoun, Fairfax, the authority, the state, and everybody have to be renegotiated here. The airport's authority and Fairfax County are pretty committed to building. Fairfax wants it to Route 28. The terminal station, the terminus station, turning Wheelie Avenue into the end of the line station is not something Fairfax County wants to do. We know tolls are high. We know tolls are the bulk of the bond financing necessary. We understand. The question you asked about the state. When you look at the money for states, and I'll be glad to give you to post on your website the finance plans and the charts that spell out Springfield. Commonwealth of Virginia is part of the U.S. Secretary of Transportation's agreements to get this project rolling again after the controversies about the station at Dolphin. Governor McDonald committed $150 million. We would like, and some other folks would like, more than that state money. We sort of feel like this area is the economic golden goose of the rest of the state. But right now, we're not getting that. At least the governor says we're not, unless we do away with what's called the project labor agreement. And all I can tell you about that is our board has voted for it, but stay tuned for the next 2 weeks. It's on our board's agenda for 2 weeks for next week. And it's, Congressman Wolf is adamantly opposed to the project labor agreement. So are a lot of people. Virginia's a right to work state. That we've changed it to where it amounts to, how many of you remember the veterans bill where you got extra credit for jobs? If you were, it's now a point system, very similar, a 10-point preference system. It's very similar to that. That's still not enough to satisfy the governor or to satisfy Congressman Wolf. The state would be perfectly happy if we went back to the agreements we had on phase 1. Our phase 1 contractor had what's called voluntary project labor agreement. They could, and what they did wasn't mandatory, but it allowed them to hire and certify workers that had been certified through union operations to say, yes, you're qualified to do the electrical work at the level you use. It just opens the doors that it doesn't keep anybody from working.
Who changed the way it's?
Our board, my board,
So the board will flip
my
back.
the MWA board, the MWA board.
Or it'll flip back to get one.
I don't know. I don't know. I do tell you, I will give you a heads up that tomorrow we understand that 3 of our major supportive groups, the Dallas Border Rail Association, the Washington Airports Task Force, and one other one, are gonna send a letter apparently to the board and to the public and the whole world asking us to change our position.
Right.
I mean, and I just ask you on that to be patient. You can call the board if you want to. I mean, I can't tell you to do that, but it's been a very tough situation. I understand why it was done, but, and if you ask our contractor and we look at the records on how it worked for phase 1, incredible, because they were able to hire. And they hired from throughout the region. And there was one study that came out where they hired more Maryland folks. Well, the contractor direct hire did have a few more Maryland folks. The subcontractor hires has more Virginia folks. So it just sort of, it's very complicated. Very complicated. That was a great question. And if you want to take my card, I'll be happy to send you directly by email the finance chart and some information. Yes.
Okay, my question is not nearly as serious, I don't think, and
That's
you
okay.
may not be able to answer it. Given the news of all the Metrorail trains and all the troubles they've been having, do we get all new trains, or do we get the mix up of the?
We're gonna
new
get
and old?
we're gonna get the bulk of new trains, but we're gonna have some mixed up too.
Okay.
But Metro is working to rehab them. Metro's, it was built in the 70s, and Metro has a huge problem. Unlike other mass transit systems in this country, it's the only one without a dedicated source of revenue funding. Atlanta has a 50-cent sales tax, blah, blah, blah. San Francisco has a 1-cent sales tax. It would be totally, Metro was built with 95% federal funding. There was no need to do it. If you were to go out now and ask people to now let them impose a 1-cent sales tax, it would never happen. Someday, it may have to happen. But, yes.
Do you have an idea of the price of the ticket if I got on at $7.72 and got off at Smithsonian?
I don't, because we have to talk about Metro's charging. but they're going to some flat rates. I'd probably tell you, go online now and check what it would cost you to get from West Falls Church to the end of the Green Line.
And double.
And
Do
then
you know
Harvey.
the frequency of the trains?
I do know this. Would you do me a favor though? Take my card and email me and I'll email it to you. I do know that. It's too mixed up in other numbers.
Do you know, is it more frequent than, is it less frequent than the existing system? Because
It will be, but it's very frequent during rush hour and then it comes at 7 o'clock. And rush hour sometimes will change because rush hour will begin earlier.
Right.
So there'd be no special consideration because one of the stops is at the airport? So you're saying there's a lull during the day, but because you have that
That's so right.
airport
Yeah.
stop?
You're not gonna have as many people getting on. And all that's determined too by after the first month, you look at it and you fix it. You adjust it, because we have no idea. We kind of expect that a lot of the early riders, a lot of people are gonna get off and rest in Tysons and then Reston. We have to figure out how many people are actually doing that.
And they really go to the airport.
And how many people are going downtown. Yes.
A couple of years ago, there was a different tax system where Fairfax County started charging revenue tax on gasoline sales. Am I correct in remembering that Loudoun County decided not to follow their suit or something like that? There was a change?
I don't know that, but none of that money goes to us.
I was thinking,
Are you talking about the special tax districts?
yeah. and
Okay,
so
the
that-
special tax districts that Fairfax County is using to fund phases 1 and 2 were created voluntarily by commercial landowners only. The phase 1 runs, there's a strip all the way down from Wheelie Avenue into Tysons, and every business, no residential properties, except if you own an apartment building, you're paid stamp tax. If you're a condo owners in a building, you are not. Condos are exempt. But they paid, they thought they were gonna be paying 27 cents on the dollar. They've only had to go up to 22 cents on the dollar. And as of last night, they have already generated enough money for their 400 million share of phase 1. They're already up to 330. It's been a great success. Phase 2 has just started. Well, in comparison, they've been operating about 18 months. They pay a lower rate. Because we haven't started doing anything for them yet. When we start building phase 2, their rate goes up to 25 cents on every $100.
So has that been designated?
Loudoun has not chosen to go that way because I think one of the different things is when the route gets out into Loudoun, it's not commercial, it's residential. It's sort of like that strip along the Dulles Toll Road from Tysons out by Wolf Trap to Hunter Mill, it's all residential, so those properties aren't involved. And I apologize, but I can get you the contact to tell you how Loudoun's finance plan, exactly where they're going to go. At one point, they were talking depot taxes and tourism taxes, they're not doing that. But I'll be happy to have them get in touch with you. Okay, yes.
What's the timeline for phase 2?
Phase 2, as soon as we get through these approvals, we hope to land the contract by the 1st of next year. We don't have a construction start date, but we have a completion date. Anticipated completion date is 2018. The beginning of 2018. All of it is going to depend on who gets the phase 2 contract, and all the different players and how it goes. Just practically speaking, it would probably go faster if the existing contractor is the winning contractor. That just makes sense. But that doesn't mean that that's going to happen because there's all sorts of other factors to be blended into that. Phase 2 will not have the challenges of construction that impact the public like it did in Tysons. Our biggest challenge is going to be for people who work and operate the airports. The airport, because that's where you're at. But we expect construction to go a little bit faster than we anticipated. But I'll keep you posted as soon as we know something. Thank you very, very much. We'll be happy to. If you email us, give us 24 hours before you get mad. Sometimes we can get back to you right away. If not, we'll get back to you. Thank you, it's a pleasure.
A couple of administrative notes. I mentioned this at the beginning, but if anybody came in after we started, this presentation itself is fairly large and it's going to be pretty difficult to email. But if you go onto Facebook, to our Facebook site, which is, if you look for RE/MAX Select Properties on Facebook, or if you go to facebook.com/RE/MAX Select Properties, and just send me a message, post a message on the wall saying, hey, I'd like a copy of that presentation. I can get it through Facebook because they have a larger ability to take files. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, obviously, I want to thank you very much for coming out here. It was a great presentation, and we have, following this, New Homes Expo downstairs. We've got almost 20 builders that are here, from local builders that are building communities in Loudoun County. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate you coming.
Very, very much.
You're going down there.
I am.
Make traffic better for everybody.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, to put a lift out there, you know. They want to build a house. Okay, well.
2018.
I don't know if it was right.
Yeah, it's 2018. It sounds like a long time, but
Yeah.
before I know it.
When I met with her last year.